what about now? Testing, testing, 1, 2. You know what? Let's just go for it and see what happens. This is a story about a girl named Lucky. And by Lucky, I mean Becky. Hi, that's me. This is a story about how I made the frickin' decision once and for all to get a flip phone. Hello. Listen to that sound. Listen to that sound. I love that sound. The day was February 23rd, and I had had enough, okay? I'd had enough. I had been seriously considering getting a flip phone for the last year and almost a half at this point. What brought me to that decision, you ask? I'd be so happy to tell you. I went on my first Vipassana meditation retreat. What's Vipassana meditation, you ask? Another great question. Vipassana meditation it's a type of meditation. Long story short, if you go on a retreat like this, they lock up your phone and your belongings. You're not allowed to make eye contact with anybody, speak to anybody, read, write, exercise, do anything that'll take you out of this meditative state, okay? And you do this for 10 days. It's technically 11. It's 12 days because there's day 0 and then you leave on day 11. So it's technically 12 days. But you meditate for 100 hours and it was life-changing. So life-changing that I will say to you right now, if you have considered doing this at all, you must do it. If you have felt your interest piqued or intrigued by this, if you've ever heard anybody talk about it and you said to yourself, wow, that sounds really cool, I want to do that, you must go. You owe it to yourself to go. I could go on and on and on about why this retreat was so life-changing to me, but that's for another video. Okay, so on the last day, first of all, I felt what it meant to be alive. I felt like I truly understood what it meant to be alive when I was on this meditation retreat with nothing, okay? Nothing but me and my body. I was sitting looking out the window one day after eating lunch, and I was looking at like the window frame, and I thought, I've never felt so alive right now. Doing something so innocuous and mundane and not very exciting at all. I felt truly alive. When it came time to collect my belongings, the man helping me took my phone out of this plastic bag, and I saw my phone screen off just this black box. And I thought to myself, that thing is Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and it's trying to kill me. It is trying to kill me. It is taking everything I value from me. It's taking my time, my precious fucking time, my precious fucking attention, my mental faculties, my ability to think clearly, my ability to express my thoughts clearly and articulate myself. It's taking connection from me because I'm so freaking insecure suddenly because of this phone and so anxious because of this phone. It is robbing me blind. And I keep allowing that to happen was the real kicker, because I'm an addict, okay? I'm straight up addicted to my phone. Or I was, I can say that now. I didn't turn my phone on for a full 24 hours after I got it back. It sat in my room on the corner of my bed, and I was like fully aware of it, and it felt like a demonic presence in my life, okay? Then what happened? What happened is what always happens with addiction until you truly get clean, is you keep going back to it. You keep thinking, it's going to be different this time. It's going to be different this time. I'm going to use it. I'm going to have self-control. I'm only going to use it for X, Y, and Z. I'm only going to use it to make phone calls or text people. I'm only going to check Instagram once a day. I'm going to uninstall TikTok because I have no fucking self-control when it comes to that. I'm only going to do this. I'm going to keep it outside my room. You understand. And guess what? I didn't uphold those rules I set for myself. And I had this rule of no phones in bed. Okay, that one I stuck to pretty rigidly. And then one day I thought, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? So then, sure as shit, in no time, I'm there again, laying in bed, half asleep, scrolling through my phone, just waiting, mindlessly, just waiting for the next frickin' hit of dopamine. What's the next cool video that I'm gonna see? God, there's gonna be something that's so funny that's gonna literally change my life. And if I stop scrolling now, then I'm never gonna see it. Is the thought process. Okay, that is the subtle, deep-seated thought process when doom scrolling for me. I'll speak for myself here. I get so worked up about this because I'm so upset with how I just allowed a device to rob me of everything that I value in life. It has just robbed me completely. So sure enough, I become fully addicted to my phone again. Even when I would leave it in the other room or, leave it somewhere intentionally, my mind was fully conscious, hyper aware even, of where my phone was in the house, which is defeating the purpose a little bit. If I'm leaving my phone in a different room, it's because I don't want to pay attention to it. I want to focus on something else, but all of my focus was still on the whereabouts of my phone. So what happened next? I went on another meditation retreat, okay, almost a year later. So this was back in September now. And I thought I could really change the relationship I had to my device. I really, really thought I could. And again, stuck really rigidly to my no phone in bed rule. And I was doing other things. And I felt like I did feel less attached to it after this last meditation retreat. And then guess what happened? Guess what happened? Suddenly, again, it's 3 a.m. and I'm doom scrolling in bed when I should be sleeping. And that was another thing about this retreat, these 2 retreats. I have had trouble sleeping since I was a wee lass, okay? I remember talking to my pediatrician when I was like 10 about trouble sleeping, and he suggested chamomile tea. And I will always think of, shout out Dr. Louts, when I drink chamomile tea to this day. I'm 32. I've had issues sleeping my whole life. When I was on these retreats with my phone locked away somewhere, I slept like a freaking baby. I could fall asleep easily. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't like thinking of all the things I could possibly be missing out on. And like, I slept like a baby. Okay. And after this last retreat, I think I can have a different relationship with my phone. And come to find, I cannot. So on February 22nd was the day, the evening of February 22nd. I don't know why this was the catalyst, but I got in a fight with my sister, and she and I never fight. Okay, we're thick as thieves, have been forever. It feels like we're twins. She's 2 years older than me. We get in a fight, and I, for some reason, was like, I need to do something to truly change my life. I need to change my life. I need to stop thinking about it. I don't need any more evidence that my phone is ruining my life, and I just need to do it. And do it I did, finally. I went to Boost Mobile the next day. Well, I drove around to many Boost Mobiles, then I finally went into one. And it smelled like sweet ganja in there and cigarettes, which was very interesting. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I tell the man that I'm looking for a flip phone, and this is the only one they had. That's it. This is the only one they had. And he was like, are you sure about that? And I said, yes. I've never been more sure about anything in my entire life, okay? He sets it up for me. He asks me 10 times if I'm sure. He's like, are you sure you don't want a free, like, nice phone today? And I said, no. I said, my phone is ruining my life. And he said, well, good for you then. And I said, thanks. As he put the SIM card in this thing, look at that. Look at those big ass buttons. They click. As he put the SIM card in this phone, I felt this euphoria sweep over my body. And I started to feel so alive. It was like my senses were coming back online. And I thought, I'm free. I'm finally free. Thank God. Free at last. Free at last. Lord Almighty, I'm free at last. In a different way than what that quote is referencing. But I felt free, truly. I floated out of the Boost Mobile, floated into my car, and I thought, my life starts now. And to some of you who maybe don't have as serious of addictive tendencies as I have that might, land you in rehab and whatnot, you might think, wow, this sounds really crazy. This sounds really crazy. But I tell you what, this has been my very true experience with technology, trying to monitor my use, trying to live my life freely as I want to, while still being chained to devices, chained to my smartphone, chained to my Instagram and my Facebook, and all those apps today are just ads. I'll scroll through my junk mail folder. That's how bad it is for me. Like, if I have any idle time at all, I would be scrolling through anything I could scroll through, because my brain has developed this lie that it tells me all the time that any moments of like physical inactivity or non-consumption is like a waste of time. So I fill all those gaps that would be very beneficial gaps of like silence and quiet that my brain truly needs. I would fill those gaps with mind-numbing scrolling. And the sad part is, I can't tell you about many videos that I've seen. And I've seen tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. On February 23rd, that was my first full day of being without a smartphone. Or was it the 24th? I don't know. One of those days. It was my first full day being without my smartphone. I woke up in the morning. I laid there for a little bit. I looked around. I grabbed my journal. And I started writing. And I wrote like 6 pages of like a college rules notebook. Any time in the past, I've sat down to journal, because I've also been through so many stages of like trying to optimize, and like journaling's good for you, so I'm going to journal. And I would try and write, and it would just be this clunky desperation to get something out. But since I never sat in silence ever, I couldn't articulate my thoughts. And it would end up being like 4 sentences just to be like, I journaled. And suddenly, without a smartphone, I was writing so freely. I could hear my thoughts. I could organize my thoughts. And I could write them down for the first time ever. I was writing all the time. And I still am. I'm writing all the time. Which I've always wanted to do. But next to a smartphone, that felt like futile and silly and a waste of time, even though like I know it's not. Oh my God. Sorry, this is getting so intense. I feel very intensely right now. But over the next couple of weeks, I also went through withdrawals, which was very weird and sinister feeling of like just this restlessness, irritability, and discontentment. If you know, you know, just hovering in the background. And just this jittery feeling of like, I have to do something with my hands. Like the first 2 days, high and euphoric. The next 3 to 4 following that, I felt very weird. But I was so proud of myself for getting rid of the thing that was causing every issue in my life. That really helped me through. And journaling and writing down my experience, as so many therapists have told me to do before, finally it made sense. I remember too, I would wake up certain days or at certain times of the day, these memories would come to me, memories that I'm not very proud of. A lot of memories from like Becky and active addiction. And I was able to like process them because I've been numbing myself for years, even after I got sober. I'm numbing myself with my smartphone, that I haven't given myself the time or the space or the freedom to like sit and digest some of these really uncomfortable memories that I've pushed so far down. Now they finally have time to bubble to the surface. And I've been like, I understand what it means now to process things because I have the space to do it and I allow myself that time to do it. Instead of like, first sign of discomfort, let me scroll. Something else I noticed that was so drastic for me was my hunger cues. My hunger cues became so loud. And I would eat when I was hungry and I would stop when I was full. I haven't heard my satiety hormones ever. Because food for me, it's another numbing device. It's another way I can change the way I feel when I feel any discomfort. And that and a smartphone went hand in hand to me. And finally, I eat when I'm hungry. I stop when I'm full. This is a revolution for me, okay? I can hear my body. I can hear when I'm getting anxious and what I need to do about it. I go for so many walks. I get outside. I feel like such a participant in my life for the first time in a long time. Okay. Don't get me wrong. There's some frustrations that happen too. Oh, let me show you this. Look at that. Listen to this. You hear that? I got an iPod too. Because before getting rid of my smartphone, I'm like, but what about Google Maps? But what about Spotify? I've had my Spotify for like 13 years. Oh, that's so sad. I'm going to miss my Spotify. I'm going to miss my Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year. And don't get me wrong, that's all fun. But it does not hold a candle to the freedom that I experience not having it. I don't miss it. I have found other ways. I don't mind finding out addresses of places I want to go, writing them down, and then putting them in my car. Because my car is GPS. So that's been very helpful too. Everything that I would thought I miss, I don't at all, because the freedom is so juicy and worth it that I don't think I'll ever go back. I don't think I'll ever go back. And I pray to God I don't get a job one day that makes me get a smartphone, because I know, like, a lot of people I've talked to about it are like, oh, I would love to do that, but I can't. Like, this is my work phone and blah, blah, blah. And I used to have a job where I had to have a smartphone for a work phone, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But seriously, it has been life-changing. And if you there, if you have considered this seriously, I encourage you to take the plunge. You will not regret it. You will not regret it. Texting, I really wanted a phone. Like, my dream was to get like a Razr. I really loved my Razr phone in high school, and I loved T9 texting, which doesn't exist on this thing. So you have to like punch the button, 4 times, 3 times to get the C, or whatever letter it is. But I've gotten really fast at texting. I lost my train of thought. I really encourage you to try it out. Try it out for a month. You can always go back, but what you cannot get back is your time and attention that your phone has stolen from you, okay? And if you have a healthy relationship with your phone, I applaud you. I'm so happy for you. That was never me. That was never me. And I can't be trusted with dopamine devices. My phone felt like I was carrying around a loaded rig in my back pocket and telling myself, don't use it. Don't use it. Which I've tried to do with drugs in the past, and that never worked. So many amazing things have come from this. And I'm going to keep going. And again, if you've ever thought about it, now's the time.